Hi guys, it's Samuel Ajala again, and welcome to another episode of Finance for Founders. This podcast will explore the strategies, stories, and secrets behind building, scaling successful businesses. And I'm your host, Samuel Ajala, and we have an extraordinary episode lined up for you today. Joining us today is a true trailblazer in the world of Fintech, Dr. Valentine Obi, the founder and group CEO of eTranzact Global and Africa's first multi-application and multi-channel electronic transaction platform. Over the past 2 decades, Dr. Obie has revolutionized the way millions of people interact with financial systems, driving financial inclusion and innovation across the continent. But that's not all. He's also the visionary behind Xcelapp, a newly launched platform that sets to redefine how business and consumer manage financial transactions. In today's conversation, we will drive into the story behind eTransact's story, the challenges of scaling across Africa, and inspiration for Xcelapp, and the lessons he learned about the leadership, funding, and resilience along the way. Doctor, welcome to our podcast. How are you?
Thank you. I'm very well. Thank you. And you?
Very well.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Do you want to tell the people a little bit about you and about your businesses?
Well, so my name is Valentine Obi. I basically started eTranzact about 2 decades ago, and basically that was to look at some of the challenges we're having, especially back home in Africa. Where digital transactions were really was not there, 2003. And the idea was to see indeed how can we help with the financial inclusivity in our environment. And that's how we started with eTransact. I'm sure that during the course of the interview, we can, delve more into some of the things we did, and we're doing currently.
Fantastic. Dr. Val, I wanted to ask a question.
Yep.
They say most successful people usually have a why. Why they start a business, what inspired them, and the why that keeps them going during difficult times. Regarding eTransact and Xcelapp, what was your why?
Why is I'm very observant, and I'm kind of looked at. Especially if we start for eTransact, we lived in a country then back home in Nigeria, where basically every transaction is cash based, and then you see people get mugged, people are attacked at their homes because people have cash lying at home. Mm. And I've always asked myself a question, there has to be a better way to do this. Yeah. Why must have to always carry cash? And then you see in those days, people carry cash and dump at home. Why? Because everybody's looking for cash. If you want to buy a house, you have to buy cash. You want to buy a car, you have to buy with cash. Now, I'm talking about 2000, 2001, 2003. That is the story in most of the sub-Saharan Africa. So everything is cash-based. And in my mind, I say, look, there need to be a way out that we just have to do something different. We may not be able to do, have the same kind of infrastructure than you have in Europe and America, but we can do something different. And that's how they, started thinking about eTransact. And also because I like asking questions, getting to understand how are things done? How can you do it better? So that helped me as we began to innovate and create, the platform. Because if people are used to cash, whatever you're going to give them must also be almost an alternative to that cash.
Yeah.
Cash is immediate. I pay you, I give you cash, it's done, it's settled.
Yeah.
No question. I'm not waiting for clearing times and stuff like that. So if you're going to give you a digital platform to be able to do the same thing, it has to be also immediate. And that's why when we started, eTransact was the first globally that provided instant payment.
Wow.
Direct into your bank account, not for you to wait like a check.
Yeah.
and wait for days before it gets cleared and all that. It has to be instant so that you know immediately I received the money. Just like cash, when I give you cash, that's cash in your hand and you know immediately. And so that was, so really it is the challenges that we saw, in 2001, 2002, and then we began to create this, and so that's why, to truly help people get out of the menace of always carrying cash. Now, even for government, cash is expensive.
Yeah.
And people don't know about it because for every single £1 coin or £10 note, £5 notes, or a Naira note that you have is a cost to the government.
Wow.
Because if you produce, we did some analysis in those days, whereby 1 Naira note or 10 Naira will cost you about 4 Naira to produce.
Yeah.
So which means if I produce 1 billion notes, it's going to cost the government 4 billion Naira to produce it. Then I'm talking about 2003.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So if you just change that into digital, automatically changes the cost can be diverted and used for something that's better.
Absolutely.
Because it means that automatically, if you change, for example, say I do 50% digital, it means you're already saving 2 billion without doing anything else.
Yeah.
So
fantastic.
That's the why and that's the motivation. Yes.
Fantastic. And so I want to dive in a little bit further. We mentioned the why. Could you tell us a little bit more about your history, your background, how you got into fintech? Is it something that the family were involved in, or you had a passion for technology in school? And then a little bit more about your career and then how you now made the leap to eTranzact.
Yes, I've always been in the technology space. I was running Sybase. Sybase is a database platform. Actually, Base is a U.S. company based out in about 100 and about 60 countries in those days, and I was managing, the West African operation. And the challenge then was, the banks are only using the normal core banking platforms, so there were really no. And everybody expecting people to come into their banking halls to do, and that's part of the thing. But for me was, because I enjoy technology, and I see the way technology works. I'm deep in it. We're doing programming. It was a lot easier for me to begin to think about how we can use technology then in 2000, to change what we're doing.
Yeah.
And basically that's, what we did. That's what I did. So, so my background is basically been in technology platform, software development. And my wife is also into software development.
Wow. Does she work with you, or did she help start it?
Yes, of course, at the beginning. Yes, so it was. So it was indeed something we enjoy doing.
Wow.
There is, for me, there's always the joy in creating something, in looking for a solution for something. There's a problem. How do we solve it?
Yeah.
For me, that's a passion.
Yeah.
Solving problems. And that's what I've been doing.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Does it help having somebody that you're married to in the same field? Some people say when they want to leave work, they want to go home and not think about work.
No.
How did you find it?
It was fine. I must say, before COVID, I never take any work home.
Oh, wow.
It is COVID that makes us all begin to work from home. But normally, when I go to work, I go to work. When I come back home, I'm home.
Wow.
Yeah. Same thing for my wife. So the same thing. So yeah.
That's amazing. You mentioned you don't take work for home, which makes me believe that you have strong family ethics. I know you personally, and I know you're a man of faith as well. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about faith and family life as well?
Yeah. The fact is, if you think that the world we live in is, it just came out from one gorilla or from one, you're mistaken.
Yeah.
There is a higher purpose. I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
I believe in the Lordship of Jesus Christ. And his teaching and his words guides every step that I take as much as I can. And I believe in God that the things that I do, I try to, as much as possible, allow him to guide me, into that. And I present my situations before him every time.
Yeah.
Of course, I make a lot of mistakes, but I can go back to him for guidance, for direction, for leading, and that helps me a lot, And so I think truly I am where I am today because of the Lord Jesus Christ.
Oh, praise.
Fantastic. He guides every of my steps, and I trust him completely with no reservation. I speak about him anywhere that I am found, wherever it is, because I know that he has helped me. Even in the vision of eTransact, he gave me the guidance, the direction, when nobody even knew exactly what it was all about.
Yeah.
But didn't understand it. But he guided me and showed me what to do, and I can say that today, many times people say founder and CEO, but I know that I was just riding, on his back to get to where I am, So truly, he is a real founder of eTransact. He is the founder of eTransact, not the real. He is the founder.
He is the founder.
Yeah.
I love that. There's something that I would say, knowing you personally, about your humility and simplicity in spite of your accomplishments. And I think that personally, even from observation, is something that I've learned, something that I've picked up myself. One of the things I would say in a recent conversation that we had, you've mentioned your giftings. Now, we speak regularly about people's different giftings. And I think that when you hear people speak, you think people have to have, one great gifting, or you have to be able to sing. But in our conversation, I remember you spoke about just innovation and, seeing what others don't see, and so on and so forth. Do you want to give us a little bit more about your gifting, and even give us a little bit more about how God revealed to you eTransact?
Okay. It's a gifting is having, everybody's got a gift.
Yeah.
And God has given everyone their own different gifts. Maybe your own is in singing or even in football.
Yeah.
I think I have a gifting in creativity.
Yeah.
Innovation. I think about solutions all the time. I think about how can I do it better than I'm doing right now?
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm not just thinking about it, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And I find it a lot easier to do because I think it is, so like I said, it's just a gift for everybody. You have your own different kinds of gifting. And I think, God has blessed me with, quick understanding of stuff that I'm doing. It helps me to be able to really grasp things faster, and that has helped me in my journey.
Wow.
Just like, those who have gifting in maybe operational excellence, there are people who are very good in, managing stuff, or, either in music,
Yeah.
theirs is almost like a calling. You put a mic before them, they can just immediately
Yeah.
get to it. So for me, I'm excited when I see a problem.
Yeah.
And I've always seen a way out of that problem. And I think it is not just because of anything that I know. I think it's just the blessing and the gifting of God in my life that is making that happen.
Fantastic. One of the things I would say, eTransact is a global organization, especially in Africa, throughout many countries in Africa. When scaling eTransact, what have been the major obstacles, challenges you have come across? Because you have so many, when somebody's trying to scale something in anywhere, to be honest, you've got having the right team, trust issues. So what were the major obstacles you faced scaling eTransact, and how did you overcome it?
I think the major obstacle is, at the initial stages, was buying, getting people to understand that truly you don't need to carry cash. That was very alien.
Yeah.
People just don't know what are you talking about, including regulators.
Yeah.
Because I remember in 2002 when I spoke to the central bank about, the look at their faces was a look of pity. I think this guy have lost it. That was in 2002. And I remember after speaking, they walked me out of the office politely, with a comment, do whatever you want to do and just report back to us. There was no licensing. There were no regulations.
Yeah.
And I can understand, it is in 2002, even here in the UK, because I was telling them how we can use a mobile phone to make payment.
Yeah.
In 2002, there was none like that in the UK. There was nowhere else. So in Africa, the challenge too was there because digital transactions were not just there. I mean, even connectivity within the banks was not there. So, but you have to believe. You have to strongly. For me, it's more like a calling, right?
Yeah.
I know that even though it doesn't exist, it doesn't seem to be common, but it's there.
Yeah.
It's something that can be done. It's something we need to do. Today, we're all talking about AI. AI just did not just start. It has always existed.
Yeah.
It's just that now people found out a way to use it.
Yeah.
So the same thing. So for me was that the environment wasn't right. People say, "Oh, Valentine, I think you came out too early." But yes, somebody have to come out somehow.
Yeah.
And but I think that eventually, today in Africa, there's a better adoption of digital transaction services than ever. A lot more people are beginning to embrace it. We're not there yet.
But you pioneered it.
Yes.
You helped to pioneer it.
Oh, yes. We're not there yet, but I think that we've got about millions and millions of people out of using cash to do their transactions. Personally for me, for example, I stopped carrying cash in 2003.
Wow.
And so long as I have my phone, I know I can do everything.
Yeah.
Even then, it was no smartphones. It was just all those basic phones.
Yeah.
But then we were able to use even normal SMS to do transactions in those days. And then in 2008, between 2006 and all that, I started putting it as an, using what they call midlets to produce the mobile apps that we put in, using a Java files to create the applications on your mobile phone.
Yeah.
And then in 2008, we became the first mobile payment platform on the App Store.
Wow.
Yeah. But all this was because we needed to get people to see this thing works. Your current status notwithstanding, you can still do, better.
Yeah.
and we can actually leapfrog Europe and America then.
Yeah.
That was my biggest dream. We can't build all those infrastructures and all the fiber across the whole, but we've got this mobile stuff.
Yeah.
It's your everyday tool. So why not use your everyday tool for your everyday transaction?
Yeah.
That was it. That was the goal. And that's where we are today.
Fantastic. One of the things that we work with a number of companies here in Africa. And one of the main discussions is about funding.
Mm-hmm.
In Europe now, in the US, there's a big focus on angel investing, private equity investing, VC investing. In Africa, the ecosystem is slightly different.
Very.
How did you go about funding, scaling eTranzact?
That's very interesting. Now, it's changed quite a bit today, but in the year 2001, 2, 3, it was quite difficult. In the first place, people think you're crazy.
Yeah.
In fact, there was no word called Fintech in those days.
Wow.
Yeah. So people just didn't understand how they think, no, this is not for now.
Yeah.
Okay, so nobody was actually ready to fund you. So you have to really bootstrap, right?
Yeah.
You have to get the people. One of the biggest things is to get the buy-in of the people, the banks. So the first thing we did is to basically, just like any other entrepreneur, you have to use your own funding to be able to show the world that this works. I remember having a discussion with the banks, and we told the banks, this is the platform. Everything you need, we provide it for you free of charge. And in 45 days, if it doesn't do what we're saying it's going to do, return it back. And we're not going to charge you a dime.
Yeah.
But we know it's going to work. So basically like putting your money where your mouth is, right?
That's correct.
And that's what we did.
And did they accept
every
offer?
single bank that picked it up never returned it till today.
Wow.
And that's why every single bank, for example, in Nigeria, in Ghana, or in the countries that we are on the eTransact platform,
That's amazing. I was going to say to you as well, we talk about startups. Having mentors is a common thing then. When scaling your business, were there anybody that proved pivotal in terms of support, mentoring, when scaling your business?
Yeah, I think, for me, is that I reached out to a couple of people who are, I know they've really done well in their businesses and in running organizations. One thing was paramount in my mind to make sure I have a very good governance structure to help me, as I grow. So that's one thing that I make sure that
like board of directors. When you
board of directors, I make sure that I have a good board. People that I respect, people I know they can speak into my life. They can say stop, and I can stop. And that's what I did from day one. Make sure I have a very good board.
Fantastic, and I would say this as my final question. Dr. Val's recently started an online bank here in the UK. It's called Xcelapp. Now, if you're in business, many people know the difficulties when having a business bank account, having to open up a bank account, the different issues that you have with various bank accounts, right? So what I'm going to ask from Dr. Val now is to explain a little bit more about Xcelapp and the vision behind Xcelapp.
Yeah. I think, for us, the vision for Xcelapp is today you have different fintech products, doing almost the same thing, but a community platform. So not only will it do your normal transactions that you do with your normal fintech apps, but allows it's not just but also for community transactions, helping the different groups in the community know how to save and borrow among themselves. That's one. It is not just to, do your normal banking, debit and credit, but also provides you, for example, an all-round financial transaction system for, like a marketplace, that you can use for,
So I was going to say, you said borrow amongst themselves. There's this pyramid scheme that we tend to do culturally.
It's Susu, right? Yes.
Does the app provide something like that?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Fantastic.
So, and also because we call it a sell as a service, it can also provide. So instead of you having to build your own platform, if you're running within Excel, you can actually create your own platform within Excel.
Okay.
And run with your own users inside Excel. So it's not just a service for us, but it's a product that is out there, and other people, other entrepreneurs, can actually use it to do, other kind of businesses, set up their own unions, for example.
Wow.
Yeah, and stuff like that. Yes.
But so this is a recognized UK bank account.
Yeah, it's full UK account, giving you a sort code and a full bank, both for individual or for business.
Fantastic. Yes. So guys, if you're listening as well, at the end of this interview, I'm going to put a link in the description below, and it's going to be the link to the app, absolutely free. Download it and use it. I'm telling you, the app is absolutely fantastic. Please ensure that you use the app, and more details will be given to you with regards to that as well. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, there was something you said in the last. You asked me about. What will you advise other entrepreneurs?
Yes,
and I think it is key, especially for all of us. We must understand that success stems from a clear alignment of your purpose.
Yeah.
Discipline, financial management, and authentic leadership.
Yeah.
Because if you talk about purpose, it's what keeps you going no matter what. Are you going to face challenge? You're going to face challenge because that purpose is what drives you, and you keep on to it. Financial management, discipline management helps you it's for sustainability.
Wow.
Leadership, inspiring your team, making sure they truly believe in what you're doing, inspiring them, creating for customers, creating value for them.
Yeah.
And for your stakeholders, trust. And I think that is something that many times entrepreneurs we don't look at. And that doesn't help us. For me, this has helped me a lot, even in running my businesses that I do, So
I love that.
Yeah.
You spoke about driving your team leadership, adding value to your stakeholders.
Yeah.
One of the things that you've mentioned as well in terms of leadership. So what's your leadership style? You strike me as someone that's calm, laid back. And I usually depict of somebody from Africa that's got a large organization has to be quite choleric, boisterous to get things done. What's your leadership style? How do you inspire your team?
By example. Everything I'm telling you to do, you can be sure that I'm there to do it with you.
Yeah.
And so I roll up my sleeves and we get onto it. I'm ready to allow you, we can make mistakes, but be sure that we can correct those mistakes. So my leadership is very simple, yes, I'll be calm, but we do work. And we work hard, and also we play hard. That's true.
Fantastic.
Yes.
I can't get my head around a person of color starting a bank in the UK. All my life,
yes.
I've grown up, I was born and raised in this country. I've known, Barclays,
yes.
Lloyds, Halifax, all of the big high street banks.
Yes.
You think that those are your options. Now I know we've got stuff like Revolt, all of these other online bank accounts. How did you come about creating your own bank, and what were the challenges that you said? I'm sure there would have been loads of legislations.
Now, see, in the UK, you have what they called electronic money institution. That's what electronic money distribution. So you don't call yourself really a bank, by regulation, because you provide bank accounts. You provide accounts like any other bank in the country, and basically, we already have the technology. We've been providing technology for banks to do, to manage their customers. So it's a lot easier, for us to begin to, to set up our own digital service. If you remember, eTransact, for example, is the guy that builds the road in Africa and then allow the banks to put on the cars on it. So we build the roads, we build infrastructure. So this is the first time we now said, okay, look, we now put on our own cars on the road, to be able to carry the passengers directly. Before we allow you to take in, we build the tarmac and everybody, and then you use it. Now we have provided the platform, the infrastructure. Now we build, the vehicle that can take you from one end to the other.
Fantastic.
Instead of just building the infrastructure for people to use.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What's your vision for Xcelapp in the next 5, 10, 20 years? What is your vision for Xcelapp?
At least in the next 5, 20 years, we want to see Excel in all the different markets, that not just in Africa, in the Caribbean and globally. So we're already doing connectivity to the rest of the world. We've connected China, we've connected Asia, basically. And so in the next 5 to 10 years, we need to see Excel in almost every continent. That's the plan. That is doable. Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I was also going to say to you, how do you best communicate value? I think most people have a business. I think the challenge that people have is that in their heads, they know the value they're providing. How do you clearly communicate value to your customers and to your stakeholders?
I want to reduce your cost of transactions. I want to make your money go farther than it will go today.
Yeah.
So those are some of the clear values. So for the business guy, I want to reduce your cost of transaction.
Yeah.
That you can see immediately. So if you're running with Excel as a business person, you can be sure that your transaction cost goes down.
Yeah.
As an individual, you find out that you have more money in your pocket using an Excel platform than anything else. Typical example, if you use Excel, we have our own Excel MasterCard that you can use anywhere in the world. You use that card to do transaction, you find out that you save a lot more than using your normal standard bank card.
Wow.
You save more because you get that direct transactions, rate of the bank, and there's no added cost to it. So for us is that you can see immediate value. Therefore, community, of course, it means that within the community, you can begin to, you can see the effect of creating your own community system that your people can depend on, where you can all save together and then you can borrow collectively. So those are, so for us, it's clear that, people need to see it in real times, not
absolutely
stories. Yes.
See, I have to say this, and I think this is such an important aspect to this. We have a number of clients that have just started a business. They're making £5,000, £10,000 a month. So they're still in early stages. Maybe at the end of the year, 100 to 150K. And they find that in turning over 150K, they are paying transaction fees in the equivalent of about £300 to £3,000. That is steep.
It's steep.
for a company that's trying to scale, trying to get their feet off their ground. And so I think that what you have brought, reducing transactions, I think it's something that is so needed. Another thing we're finding as well amongst the startups we're working with is that it's becoming a lot more difficult to open up a bank account with your usual high street banks. I feel that this is why a lot of companies are going to the likes of Starling Bank, Revolt Bank, Monzo Bank. And even when you do sign up to these companies, you're having some pushback. But I feel that the platform that you're building as well, the reduced transactions, I think is something that is absolutely, absolutely needed. And I really commend you and your team for providing that. Guys, remember, Excel, you'll get your own bank card, sort code, account number, is a bank. Just use the link in the description. We're going to be posting this to all of our members. If you're not part of our community, please ensure that you do become part of our community. Again, the details will be in the description below. Now, somebody that wants to go into business. Now, I want to know what your top 5 tips for somebody going, and you're free to use some of the terms that you've mentioned before about what has helped you.
Yes.
In terms of value, leadership, vision, having a purpose. Feel free. But somebody that's starting now, what would be your top 5 advice to them?
The first thing, in fact, I have only usually one advice. What is the value you're bringing?
Wow.
What value are you creating? It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Because people pay you only for the value that you bring.
Yeah.
They don't pay you about your, like we say in Nigeria, your grammar. It is, what value are you bringing to me? So that product, what value is it going to create?
Yeah.
If you're not creating value, then don't expect to get paid.
Right.
So for me, that is one thing. What value are you bringing? If you're not bringing value, if you're just doing what Mr. Joe Black is doing,
yeah.
So why do I have to leave Joe Black to come to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there must be a clear value proposition.
Yeah.
If that value is not there, then you need to go back again to the drawing board.
How much, you said you're doing the same as Joe Black is doing. So how much in providing value would you say constitutes your unique selling point? Like there must be something that differentiates you even from your competition.
There must be there must be something that differentiates what you're doing. It may be the same thing you're doing, but there must be something else different. There is something that you are putting on top of it that creates better value than what is available. That's, so that's basically, otherwise, you're all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You're in the same market.
Yeah.
Of course, there are other things that are important that you need to have around, like what I talked about before, but for me, creating value and like I said in the for the founder, the entrepreneur, creating value is part of the purpose, right?
Yeah.
And then also for your customers. Sorry, I mean, creating value is one, and then be disciplined with your financial management.
Yeah.
Very disciplined. Most entrepreneurs, before you are spending money for different, you have to be very disciplined because you're strong. It's what allows you, makes your business to be sustainable.
Yeah.
And leadership is not just because I'm the boss. The boss, it must be an authentic leader.
Yeah.
That people can believe that what you're saying is, what you're doing.
Yeah.
What you're saying. What you're saying is what you're doing. People need to know that indeed you can roll up the street with them and get into the gutter, like we said, to them to do the work. I think those are the things. It may not be up to 5, but those are for me, clear things that you need to do.
Fantastic.
To be successful. Yeah.
Guys, one thing I would say as well, Doctor mentioned it just now, financial discipline. I know a number of business owners who don't have a fixed salary. and they pick and choose when they collect from their business. That is an absolute no-no. And that is single-handedly what's killing your business. If they need money, they take money. I would advise, have a fixed salary that you live on and keep reinvesting into the business, especially if you're planning on bootstrapping for now. Keep reinvesting into the business. Is there any one last advice that you would like to give to the public, anybody wanting to go into business as well?
Yeah, I think we've said it, but it's important to know that your faith is important.
Yeah.
And whatever it is that you're doing, always know that someone is behind you. And that someone is God. And he wants to add value to your life. So if that's the case, you need to also think about what kind of value am I adding to the people that's working with either your staff or your customers or your stakeholders. I'm always a value person. You need to know that there must be value creation. There must be value addition in anything that you do. And that will be my final word.
Fantastic. I appreciate that. Doctor, is there an industry that you would advise people to get into and an industry you would say stay away from? Generally, I know you specialize in fintech, but you are an entrepreneur, right? So based on what you've seen, is there industries that you say stay away from, an industry you say, if you're going to advise somebody one industry to invest in right now, to start a business in, what would it be in?
See, I always talk to people about passion.
Yeah.
What do you have passion with? I was speaking to a young man about a few days ago. He's an accountant. But he has a passion in coaching footballers.
Wow.
I said, well, that is good. So make sure you still get your certificates, your degrees and all that. And you can still do your coach. What is your passion? Because if you don't have the passion for those things and you get into them, any little thing will make you drop.
Yeah.
So you need to be passionate about whatever it is you are trying to do. So I think for you that are listening to me, what are you passionate about? Where do you truly want to make a change?
Yeah. Please
don't just copy people because, don't just go into fintech because that's what it's just, everybody's trying to do it, Is that what, do you have the passion for it?
Yeah.
If you don't, look for the things that really, they wake you up right now to do. You are doing it. Something that you see, from my faith, I know everybody's got a gift.
Yeah.
Have you tried to locate that gift that is born, that is in you, and begin to really harvest it? And that's what I think, it may not sound, people may, why not invest in crypto?
Yeah.
Why not invest in, no. I think it's for you, look deep inside of you and find the thing you are passionate about and go for it.
What do you do in your spare time?
I read. I enjoy music. And of course, I'm always in service.
Okay.
Yes.
A service, what do you mean by that?
Church services.
Okay.
For example, in my church, I go to Winners Chapel and we have different services, and that lifts my spirit.
Wow.
It makes me to, most of my inspiration, I get it in terms of worship, and, so I go to service.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Coffee or tea?
Green tea.
Green tea. Favorite holiday destination?
Favorite holidays? Well, when my kids were small, it used to be Orlando.
Okay. So they've gone to Disneyland a few times.
Yeah, they love it. So it is for them basically. But I think, my favorite has been the Caribbean.
Oh wow!
Yes.
Wow!
That was
Where did you go?
I went to Jamaica.
Okay.
I went to one of the resorts, and it was so restful.
Wow.
Another place is in South Africa. I'm also a resident in South Africa, and but South Africa, we have some villages whereby you go in there, the weather and the air is so clean. You feel so energized.
Wow.
For me, those are the two, destinations that I
fantastic.
I've gone with the families, and then we just enjoyed it.
Favorite book?
The Bible.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Favorite book in the Bible?
The favorite book in the Bible, I would say, is the book of John. Yes.
One of the 4 Gospels. Fantastic. And lastly, are you a night owl or early bird?
I'm both.
You wanted to elaborate on that?
Both, in the sense that I do a lot of work in the night.
Yeah.
Usually I go to bed maybe around 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. sometimes. Yeah. And I also get up early. So.
How many hours do you sleep?
That's something I'm working on.
Fantastic.
That's something I'm really working on. I know I need to do better there. I know.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
I'm working at that. But I like solving problems, so I'm going to solve
that. and what a perfect way to sign off.
Yes.
Val, you've been an absolute gem. Honestly, as I've said beforehand, I know Val personally, and there's so much I have learned from him, literally just through observation. He's such a meek and humble person, yet his feats that he's accomplished are phenomenal. Dr. Valentine Obi, again, want to thank you once more for being on our podcast. And for the rest of us, we want to say thank you again for listening to another episode of Finance for Founders. Please like and subscribe and follow us on all of our content. We want to hear more feedback from you. We plan to having more and more guests to inspire you on your business journey and to give as much advice we can as well on scaling your business. That's why we are here. So please like and subscribe to our podcast, and we'll see you next week. Again, Dr. Val, thank you once more for being on our podcast. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, guys, you take care. See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Okay.